Hey everyone, today I wanted to show you that just like paladins, warriors can AoE farm classic content come TBC, albeit a little bit slower. Now let's talk about the gear you need to make this work. Unlike paladins, we can't just get a figurine of the Colossus and head to Stratholme. We actually need to get a few more items. Instead of giving you an item by item breakdown, I'm going to give you the few key items we need to make this work, and I'll leave it up to you to figure out the rest. First item on our list is actually a choice you get to make. You can choose between the Force Reactive Disc if you're an engineer, or you can farm Sporagar Rep and get the Petrified Lichen Guard. The Engineering Shield is great because it can do upwards of 50% more damage than the Sporagar Shield. However, if your Engineering Shield breaks in the middle of a run, you will almost instantly die. Ultimately, this means the shield choice is yours. Leave a comment below if you'd like me to go in depth on why the Engineering Shield does so much more damage than the Sporagar Shield, and perhaps even why I didn't include Skullflame Shield in any of this. Next up is our main hand weapon. Unlike paladins who have Judgment of Light and Seal of Light to keep themselves alive, warriors have nothing, so this fills that gap. As you'll see on this next pole, once we plant our feet and start doing damage, Revenger plus Battlemaster is enough healing to out-heal our incoming damage. Next up is every farming paladin's favorite item off the last boss in Shattered Halls, the Figurine of the Colossus. This trinket serves two purposes. Number one, it has a lot of block rating, and block rating is our favorite stat for AoE farming as a warrior. And number two, it allows us to correct any small mistakes we make while gathering all of the mobs together. Getting hit in the back means we actually take damage, and thus we need to heal. The last thing on our item list is 2-piece tier 4, as it provides an amazing set bonus for old world farming. Prot Warrior 2-piece is a 25% chance on parry to gain a 200 damage absorption shield. Might not sound like a lot, but when you're fighting this many mobs, you are parrying constantly. Alright, now that the key items are out of the way, let's talk about the rest of your gear. The main goal for the rest of our gear is to stack so much avoidance and block value that we reach an unhittable state. This means our combined miss, block, dodge, and parry chance all exceeds 100% for a level 58 mob. Additionally, we need enough block value that we reduce all blocks to 0 damage taken. In this video I have around 400 block value, and that seems to be more than enough. If I open my character sheet, you can see that I only have 78% chance to not take damage, but keep in mind that our character sheet reflects what it's like to attack a level 70 mob. In reality, I also have an additional 13% chance to miss through defense, and I have about 3% chance more dodge, parry, and block than my character sheet shows. The stats in my character sheet are a pretty good goal to aim for, roughly 500 defense and 77 total avoidance. This makes it so against a level 58 mob or lower, you will likely take 0 damage. Previously I mentioned that block rating is one of a Prot Warrior's best stats for AoE farming. This is true because block rating point for point gets us closer to our avoidance cap than any other stat. Once you're unhittable, the next stat you should aim for is block value up until the point in which you block every single attack fully and take 0 damage. Once we're fully blocking every single attack and taking 0 damage, it's up to you whether or not you want to gear for more damage or more health. Keep in mind, items that read when struck in combat inflict X damage back to the attacker are quite terrible for Prot Warriors and Prot Paladins, as it requires us to actually take damage. Miss, dodge, block, and parry do not count and thus inflict 0 damage back to the attacker. Talents are really simple. You can choose any talents you want as long as you take the avoidance talents to make sure you reach avoidance cap. While learning these farms, it might be worth it to take a couple of points out of Prot and go all the way down to Piercing Howl in the Fury Tree, but it's not required. I think the only required talent is in the Prot tree, and it gives you rage every time you block. For Stratholme, I'd recommend using restorative potions and free action potions. Unlike a paladin, we don't have Hand of Freedom, and we don't have Cleanse, so we can't remove the slow that we get, and we also cannot remove the disease that stops us from healing with food. Engineering boots and rocket bombs are nice as they allow us to speed up the gathering phase and more quickly enter the kill phase, but they're by no means required. Only one battle elixir makes sense, and that's the agility elixir. We'd use it if we're trying to get to our avoidance cap, otherwise we don't need to use a battle elixir at all. As far as Guardian elixirs go, only two choices really stand out: Swiftness of Zanza and the Earthen Elixir. Something most people don't know about the Earthen Elixir is that it actually does not prevent 20 damage all the time. Reading the tooltip of both Earthen Elixir and Paladin's Blessing of Sanctuary, we notice that it says prevents up to X damage done by physical or magical attacks. The wording on this is very important because player armor actually reduces the amount of damage reduction we get. When a player has 75% armor, which we should against all of the mobs we're fighting in instances that are lower level, we actually only get 25% of the value listed. So that means we only actually reduce physical damage taken by 5. I haven't tested how this works with magic damage, but it's very likely that if we have a 75% resist, then we only reduce magic damage taken by 5 as well. With that in mind, I'd recommend either using a Swiftness of Zanza or, again, nothing at all. I don't want to go too in depth about the gold per hour or anything like that because truthfully we don't know how much this learned. What I did show though is that warriors can do a very similar farm to what paladins have been demonstrating they can do, even if it is a little bit slower. I think that about wraps it up, so I'm going to leave you the rest of this SM Cath to watch. If you feel like it, leave a like, comment, or subscribe.